therapy, God, most importantly.
Absolutely.
To like really take back those years that I was taught those things. And honestly, my parents were great. They did the best that they could. They were fantastic. It was just a different way of parenting back then.
Right. And we weren't, going back to how we weren't really taught to, share those emotions. One thing I learned from sobriety, even over this last year, it's amazing how many relationships I've developed over the last few years, especially with jiu-jitsu, but even more so with sobriety and, finding Jesus. I learned that fellowship is so critical. When I have problems, going down with my wife, or I got problems going on with whatever it is I'm going through.
Yeah.
I got a couple of handfuls of guys, like real dudes that I can call and just vent to or talk to about what's going on. They'll listen, give me advice. I think it's so important for men to have that.
Yeah.
To have that group of dudes, because when I was growing up, I never developed real, I had friends, and I had a couple of good friends and stuff growing up, but I found myself at 20, 25, no friends, no real friends. I had friends at the bar.
No, I get you. I understand.
Guys I
totally
could go get drunk with, but
I get what you're saying.
No real dude that I can hey man, I'm going through this.
Yeah.
I'm going through that. And with sobriety, man, and with finding Jesus, men from church, men who know God, where me and my wife and me and my buddy and his wife will go have dinner, things like that. Those relationships are critical.
Yeah.
Those relationships really keep me in line,
Well, I think it's because those interactions have real substance.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about God or, being a father or whatever with those people, they're actually listening and they're actually going through some of the same things that you're going through. And they're also going through it with a clear mind. And they're living through Jesus. They're living through their sobriety. They're living through trials and tribulations, just like you, but they're not ignoring it. They're not just being well, I'm just going to go have that fifth of whiskey and everything is going to be fine.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you wake up and your bank account's empty and you don't know where the fuck you're at. And you're like, whoa, what happened? What did I do? What? But, I feel as the more years you stack on to your sobriety, you'll find that things are going to change. You'll see things changing, whether it's financial, your relationships or all that other stuff, which is great, are great things. But for me personally, I just keep getting happier and happier. I just look at life and I'm just oh shit, dude, life's pretty cool, dude.
The older you get, man, life just gets better, especially if you're
humbled.
Yeah,
because you're humbled real quick because you go through all these things and you're just wow, I still have food in my fridge. I still have a good job. There's still gas in my car. I can still lay here with my kids and they love me for me. That's, you can't take that from somebody that's living a life like that. You just keep going up every year. Everyone's what's so different or how's life different? And because people have asked me that before with because I was known as the party guy. I would spread myself thin to party with so many different people because it was so cool. And now it's I just have a small group of friends and everyone's oh, what's different? And I'm I'm just happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I'm happy being just in bed by 9.
Oh, bro, 8. 8 o'clock, man.
You want to know what's crazy, man? This last Thanksgiving, me and my wife were invited to a Friendsgiving type deal, and this is right before Thanksgiving. And I told my wife, you know what, man? Let's just call your mom and Doug, her husband's name's Doug, her stepdad. And I was just calling them, let's just go to dinner.
Yeah.
I was I you're getting old or something's happening when your idea of a good time is hanging out with your in-laws and just having a simple dinner and being in bed by 9, It's
But you know what? With that being said, it could be a part of me getting old because I agree to an extent, but it's also I think that also goes into that the discipline that you have as whether it's your job, because I know you have a serious job, being a husband, being a father, being a practitioner of jiu-jitsu, you do know that even though you're getting older and we're getting more tired because we are, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
like, you know that it's going to benefit you too. Like being in bed at 9 o'clock, like
Absolutely.
sometimes I'll go out and have a cigar and like I'll sometimes be out like past 8:30, which is a rarity. Whereas like before you show up at 8:30.
Right.
And I'm just like,
That's true, right? Yeah.
dude. And I'm just like, man, like I don't miss this shit. Like it just keeps getting louder and the conversations just become useless and pointless, and no one's paying attention, and everyone's doing this and doing that. And again, loud. Yeah, and nothing against that. There really isn't. Like,
well, it's a young thing.
It is,
for
but
young.
Yeah, it definitely is. But there's nothing like being at home in your bed and just like in the comfort of the people that love you, or just even if you're not around people, like just waking up refreshed. Yeah. And like, cool, like I can get to that 6:30 jiu-jitsu class, or I can get to that 8 a.m. service, you know, at church or whatever the situation is. But
have you been going to church?
Yeah, I went last Sunday.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I was at Eastside. I've been going to Eastside.
Where's that?
Eastside's in Anaheim.
You travel all the way out there? Huh?
I do. I really love Eastside. Like I do like WAC a lot. Like the ones because are you guys still going there?
Yeah, we go there.
I do like that a lot. There was just something pulling me towards Eastside, and
what is it?
You know what? I can't explain it. I think how someone's asked me this before. I think just like how simple it is. I've been to churches where like a lot of it's like centered around money. I hated it. That was like one of the first churches like I went to that ex-girlfriend took me to, and oh my gosh. And it's a church in here in Whittier, and I'm not even going to name the name. I don't care. But
I have heard on the radio churches they're popular too, and I'm like,
bro,
man, that was like 20 minutes of just tithing, you know, about 30
minutes, and it gave me this like just I didn't like it. It just rubbed me the wrong way, and so I strayed away from that church. And then when I went to Eastside, which was one of the first churches I went to, it was just I also don't like churches that are super political. There's some churches out there that are kind of political.
Like in what way?
Just like the whole thing that's going on with like Palestine and Gaza, and I don't know much about it. I've obviously read like a certain amount about it, kind of try to read the history about it, and I don't like talking about things that I'm not like too educated in, because like I don't have an opinion. I can't have an opinion because I don't know shit.
Right.
I'm not going to be that guy that like fakes it to make it in that situation. Like especially like,
and it gets heated.
Yeah, and especially if we're talking about like people are dying, you know, and I've been to a couple of churches where like they're kind of like on one side, and I'm like, man, like people are dying on both sides. Like it's too much for me. And when I went to Eastside, it was just none of that. There was no like, it was just like there were lessons, and we were going through the Bible, and it was good. It was simple. It's a really big church, so like I've noticed like with the smaller churches, like this is like totally like a personality thing. Like I don't like the smaller churches because like people can get to know you better, and like it's a little bit more personal. Yeah. Whereas like the big churches, like I can kind of sit towards the back and like I'm in and out. And it's not that I don't want to like associate with people at church. I really don't mind it. Like I am a people person, but like in my later years, like I've just like become a little bit more like secluded and like not want to like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a flaw I have. Maybe I need to like look more into like the community things, and like the, like how you were saying, like having like a group of people at the church, like that is something that I do need to work on.
Right.
And I don't know what it is. I'm around people all day at work, and I'm a very like, I like to joke around. I like to have conversations, but.
Were you like that? You said you were like that when you were in the sauce, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, when I was a drinker, which was most of my life, I never liked being around people. I would smoke pot too, so I would never want to like. I thought I was an introvert.
Yeah,
and it wasn't until I sobered up that I realized that, oh crap, I actually like people.
Yeah,
and I was, and it's so weird. Like I chat people up in the line at the grocery store.
Yeah,
you know, everywhere I go, I'm just talking to people
because you're happy.
Is that what it is?
I think that is what it is.
It's like
dude.
in my own, like I'm actually here now.
You're like you're processing your thoughts, and like you're I think you just become a new person. So it's like what made you stop drinking? Because it's been a year. Which
my wife.
Okay.
My wife just wasn't having it. Like I couldn't enjoy myself anymore. She just always on me about, and she was right. You know, like she's like, dude, that's like 4 beers in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Like, and I would always tell her, I'm not like doing anything embarrassing. I mean, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Like, you just drank like 10 beers in front of my mom and family. And like, but I'm not stumbling.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything
You're
dumb.
justifying it.
I was justifying it. But in my mind, I was thinking, dude, I'm not doing anything dumb.
Yeah.
I'm like, chill. I'm a happy drinker, you know, like,
Yeah.
I don't get violent. I don't get all stupid. She said,